You know, you have surrounded yourself by people that have become like a family to you, and you've just carved your own path in so many ways, and you go counter to traditional record releases, and so far your label just seems to go along with it. They love you and they trust you, but the choices you've made have made you an iconic band and beloved by your fans. I mean, in 2017, releasing 5 albums, and then now again, you've done it again within 6 years, another 5 albums, and with 2 more records coming out this year, it's just sort of crazy. How much did the long period of lockdown contribute to this being another year where you've got 5 records coming out?
Definitely somewhat. It meant we had more off time, less touring. We spent some just time like thinking, being pensive. Who are we? What are we doing? That sort of thing. We definitely wrote a lot of songs in lockdown, but I'd say for these, for the records that came out this year, they sort of were mostly about us getting back together and kind of represented us being a band in the old-fashioned sense again. Jamming, getting in a room together, making music, feeling each other's energy, improvising, that sort of thing.
So you guys have had to cancel the Timeland festival in Melbourne, but there's a record made in Timeland. What is made in Timeland?
Made in Timeland is real funny album. It was, I don't even know what to even say about that or what I'm allowed to even give away anymore. But it was basically made to just, it's like an intermission sort of thing for like our 3-hour marathon sets. And then, I don't know. It's sort of shaped and shifted a bunch, and now it's just turning into a bit of Illuminati. And I think Stu's just having a field day messing with everyone's heads about it too.
It's been pressed for months.
It has been pressed. Yeah. I saw recently somewhere in Madrid it ended up somehow in a record store in Madrid, like slipped through the cracks, because we had the festival and I think we gave the green light to a bunch of people to start, letting it be put out. But then we like canned it again, and then it slipped through the cracks in a few places maybe. But I don't know. It's sort of just like we're just sort of hanging on to it because it's not like we don't want it to be such a big deal, but it's just turning into this big deal. So we're just kind of trying to quietly like pretend it's not a thing for a bit.
It's like Prince's Black Album. It's like it kind of got out. There's a few of them that got out there, and people have given it way more attention than maybe it deserved.
Yeah. It sounds like that then. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, when you were finally able to get together and get back out on the road, you just went on this massive tour. I think maybe the biggest one you'd ever had yet, kind of making up for lost time. And I was happy to see that you were sort of taking some family out on the road with you so you wouldn't have to be away from them for so long. But you're doing these like marathon sets now.
They're really fun.
Yeah. I think like initially when we kind of on paper planned to do these marathon sets, they were a lot more kind of daunting, especially because this tour that we're currently on was booked in 2019 to happen in April 2020. So I think as the pandemic kind of went on, the notion of these huge shows was a bit daunting. But then this year's just been so good in terms of how we're playing like together and like just kind of, I don't know, unbridled, like just it's easy. I think the format is like actually kind of really conducive to how we're playing together now. So they feel like they go by really quickly, which I think is all you can ask for 3 hours worth of trying to keep someone's attention.
It's definitely a lot more invigorating for us to mix up the sets.
I think it's just like an antidote to like, just having the same set when you're out on a tour. Like it's great, but then it's like you can kind of just become just, like just kind of really used to it and like kind of disengage sometimes. So it's like, it took a lot of work for us to get all of the catalogue together, but like once we have, it's kind of just like a lot more stimulating to be on tour and play,
There's probably a lot of songs you can't play though.
There's stacks. Yeah, I don't know how many songs we have, but we've been playing like a little over 100. That's kind of like, it's in the rotation at the moment. So it's a fair few to remember.
That's amazing.
This was the 3rd time that we've made a record that's like deliberately not cohesive in a liberating way. For us, you know, like, which has been said many times, we like to make records which you can put on from start to finish. They've got a vibe, they've got a feel, they've got a landscape, they've got, you know, a world. It's a world. It's everything has to live inside the world. But it is liberating to kind of not do that from time to time, and just think about songs. And that's the way most people make albums. So, you know, hey, that's normal, I think. But we just don't do it very often. And when we do, it's always very fun. And Oddman's Gumboot Soup and Omnium Gatherum, the 3 times that we've done that, they do have some of my favorite ever songs that I've written and the band has written and the rest of the guys have written. There is something about only thinking about the song, which means that the song is the world, you know, and it's just a normal way of like writing songs. One thing that we did during the pandemic was, this may surprise several people, but I've never owned a turntable until the pandemic.
Nice.
So I bought a turntable and I started buying like dollar bin world music LPs just from Discogs. And it was like, just, I don't know, it was a fucking lockdown activity. I was like, I'm gonna try and get my head around chopping up samples and like figure out how to do this MPC shit. Like I don't understand that. So I want to try and let's see what we can make. And so I spent an extraordinary amount of time doing that, and it was insanely fun. And it's funny, I wasn't so much thinking about hip hop, although I naturally was, because I mean, it's a hip hop culture to do that. But I was truly looking at it with an open mind and just seeing what kind of music would come out if that happened, you know, and it all sounded like fucking hip hop. I don't know. It's like, maybe it's just my bias or like what I've heard before, but yeah, started kind of making these songs out of like chopped up records. Eventually Cookie got the bug as well and started doing it. And Joe's done it a lot before as well. So, like naturally just in it and like cheering us on. But anyway, Kepler 22b, the Grim Reaper and Sadie Sorceress, all 3 of those have their genesis in just like being chopped up samples and trying to figure out how to make music like that. And at one point we did think it was going to be an album that was going to be separate to Omnium Gatherum, and maybe that was before we even had a name for Omnium Gatherum. It was just like, we've got this collection of songs over here, living over here. We've got this sort of like sample-based thing over here. And I don't know, like it didn't feel like an album, you know? So we joined forces, and it sort of felt like, oh, this makes Omnium Gatherum make even more sense. It's like broadening the scope of this record. And yeah, with the metal kind of like, there's a couple of kind of like heavier tracks on there, and I think they're both, I mean, you know, like I think on one hand, they're tonally maybe similar to Infest the Rat's Nest, but in my mind, they're really different because they're kind of like, they're both rhythmically so different. And I think that's what we were trying to do with both of them. It was like, Gaia was kind of built around this quite unusual drum beat, which doesn't sound metal. And it was like, let's try and make this sound as heavy as we can. And yeah, I don't know. And then like Predator X is, I suppose, trying to be something different again that we hadn't done before, maybe slower or heavier than we ever have, maybe in a different way. So yeah, I don't know. I suppose like, yeah, going back to the reason this album exists is to just try something for a song. It was like, if we have to make a whole album of Gaia, it's like, I don't know. I don't think I feel ready for that yet, but maybe one day. Gareth and Fee, the two of the members from Tropical Fuckstorm, we've known for a long time. They were part of the band The Drones, incredible Australian bands, if anyone doesn't know about them already. Known them a long time. When we were making Fishing for Fishies, they invited us to their house in country Victoria. It's beautiful. They've got dogs. They've got a river like going through their place. They've got a boat. It's sick. We recorded most of Fishing for Fishies out on their farm. Yeah, Gaz recorded most of it. We kind of just did overdubs and that sort of shit. That's how that record came together. But anyway, we had this song, which at the time we were calling Mike Bloomfield Jam. And I think it's sort of because it had this like 60s Dylan Goes Electric sort of like type of vibe in our heads, at least. It did, you know, maybe it didn't really, but that's kind of where we're going with it. And yeah, like, I mean, just to side track for a second, when we're recording, some of it's structured, some of it completely unstructured things where it's like, this isn't even a song, it's just like chord progression. Like, it's not even that, it's just like a fucking whatever. So anyway, when we were finished, we recorded everything, we all ate heaps of food, got kind of drunk, put hats on, being like doofuses and stuff, and just recorded this huge jam. I think there was 3 takes, they're like 10 minutes each. Everyone's just fezzing out their instruments, and it did have like a certain kind of alchemic magic to it, but no one was sure what to do with it, I suppose. So this was back in 2018, when this was recorded. And around the same time, Ambrose and I were kind of like working on this other sort of like melodic song, which was completely unrelated. But anyway, both of those two things, this jam at Gaz and Fee's house, was just put aside. And this other song that Ambrose was kind of working on was just put aside. And at some point along the years between 2018 and now, we fused those two ideas together and it became the Tripping Tap. And then that just over time evolved, and we would always jam it, and eventually we recorded it, ended up on Omnium Gatherum. So that's that little side of it. But throughout those years, Gaz would always text me and say, what are you doing with that hat jam? He always called it the hat jam because we had hats on. What are you doing with the hat jam? And I was like, I don't know, like, I think we're turning in a song Tripping Tap. And Gaz was like, I'm going to overdub on it. I'm going to get the Tropical Fuckstorm crew in. We're going to like do some crazy shit on it. The girls are going to sing. It's going to be sick. And so I just sort of said, you know what? You do you, man. Like, that jam was awesome. I have no idea what to do with it. Whatever you can kind of come up with, I'm down. So basically, Gaz just and the Tropical Fuckstorm crew sort of just like worked their magic on it and turned it into what it is. And like, in a way, I don't feel like I can take very much credit for it, because like I was kind of just like half tanked, just like noodling on a guitar for 30 minutes, you know what I mean? And like, it's, yeah, the sort of like creative involvement is that for me. And like the rest of King Giz. And then they've really shaped it into like a real piece of music. And it's a cool way to make music, actually. And it's like quite inspiring, to be honest.
No, that's amazing that it just like was this random thing and was kind of left there, and then it was able to kind of come together through what they did to it after the fact.
Totally.
Guys, massive day for the band, Mikey, Stu, Ambrose. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
First of 3 albums this month is out today.
It is, believe it or not, today. Woo!
So, What was the process like? Because I know it was quite different for each one of them. Ice Death had a pretty unique, I guess, formula as to how you recorded it and the theory behind it.
We'd, swap instruments and mess around and get very loose, creatively loose. And then we would spend a few weeks kind of editing and finding the best bits and kind of piecing together the song in reverse, really. The writing was kind of done in the editing stage. We also all wrote lyrics together, and it's very collaborative, more collaborative than anything we've ever done before.
Did anyone surprise you lyrically?
Everyone's lyrics were really great, especially my own. As Stu said, it was very collaborative, but I didn't contribute to the lyrics because that's not my thing. Amber has really surprised me she had this really great line. It's something about a different kind of cuttlefish. What he meant to say was a different kettle of fish.
Obviously, everything we do has time constraints, and everything's very fast. We, don't get time to use a dictionary. I was meant to be profound. I'm trying to be mysterious with my metaphors. We are professional musicians.
6 hours is a lot of recording to whittle down each and every day. What was that process like?
There's a lot of crap in there.
Yeah. A lot of flats.
Yeah, there's a lot of
flats and
Hey man, you've got to stop selling it so hard.
No, thankfully, Stu edited out all the bad bits.
Garbage.
Yeah, all the garbage.
How do you go with just, I guess, tying a bow on work and going, we're happy with that?
You never really know until you play back from the start and you just say it's done. Like you never know how far away you are from that point until you are at that point. You just get to it and then you're there. And sometimes you can be we've worked on some
around circles.
Yeah,
literally. I have to sometimes come in and just be like, dude, it's good. It's
good.
Finished.
Yeah.
And he'll be like, oh, okay. Or he'll just be there like trying all these different things, and then I'll just be like, try this or stick with what you're already doing. But it happens in lots of mysterious ways, that's for sure.
And sometimes we have songs where we've worked on them for 5 years or more, and we have songs that have kind of been put together from start to finish, written, recorded within a couple of months. So there is no set way. You have to kind of trust in the song.
Thanks for having us. The album's out today. I always butcher it. I've got the order wrong about 15 times. Stu, what is it again?
It doesn't matter.
Tell me how Ice, Death, Planets, Lungs, Mushrooms, and Lava came together. A little bit different approach.
Yeah, so we had been in lockdown for a while. They say Melbourne's lockdown was the strictest and the longest in the world. It definitely felt long, and we couldn't see each other for a long time. So we made music during that time, but not together. We worked out how to make music, send tracks online and all that shit. We'd never really been a band doing that sort of thing much, and we sort of worked that out for a few records. But when that all ended, we were just desperate to make some music together in the old-fashioned way, in a room. You see each other and you can smell each other and vibe of each other and all of that sort of thing, and that's what this record was kind of for. And so we kind of took that to a place that we'd never been before. We sort of went into the sessions with no ideas. We'd start with a song title and a musical key, I guess. We did sort of a different scale for every song, and we used all the Greek modes. And we just did one at a time, and we just record all day, just leave it going. And that meant that the editing job was the writing, in a way. It was like going through the recordings and finding a way to stitch it together. I think we'd heard that Can made some records like that, and we're like, that sounds cool. We should make a record like that. And so we kind of had a go at that, and that's why the song's quite long and move through different kind of phases and sections, because they're all sort of recorded ad lib at different parts of the day. And for this record, for Ice Death, they kind of represent the opposite thing, just wanting to be together and making music together.
It's from the outside looking in, it just seems like you guys are having so much fun in every element that you guys do, even making music from, especially your guys' videos. Every time I watch a video, it's oh shit, they're having so much fun. Was this new King Giz one for with Joey just dancing in Greece somewhere? I mean, was that just like that almost with your guys' personality though? It just feels like something that you guys would say, like, "Oh, this will just be fun. Let's just have Joey just like dance down the steps of this thing for 8 minutes."
Yeah, it was crazy. We'd made the call, the tough as decision to cancel that recent European tour, and we're at the airport going to Prague to play the last show before we were going to pull the plug. And then it occurred to me that Danny Cohen was already flying over to Europe to come and jump on the bus with us in like 2 days and come on the road for 2 weeks and film a clip for Ice 5. And we're just like, I was like, Stu, like he's in like Berlin already, like what are we gonna do? And then like, you know, Stu's already stressing out and feeling like dog shit. So I'm just like on the phone to Danny like, alright, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Like, I'll stay back for a week. Like, I don't care. I'll do whatever it takes or whatever. Like, and then like, I'm like, Joe's staying till like end of the year. Cook's gonna go to like Greece for a week. I think Joe might go there too. And then he's just like, yeah, cool. I think I just want to film Joe though. I'm really into his like strong European look he's got going on. So yeah, I think I just want to just film Joe if he's down to like do that and like got it in him to somehow pull off this 10 minutes. So I was like, oh shit, Joe, and Joe's face kind of like changed, and then he was like, okay. Like, I got this, fellas. And yeah, and then when we saw the first cut, I was just like, hell yeah, Billy Elliot 2 looks dope.
It's a new song. Woo! It's called Iron Lung. Yeah!
Yeah, so it's like actually one of my favorite songs that Giz has done. Yeah, it's like one of my favorites. Is a song that's going to be on Laminated Denim. But yeah, I don't know, can't really give too much away. But it's a 15 minute just like a space rock odyssey. Hypertension, that's the one I'm talking about. Yeah, right. So it's one of my, it goes for 15 minutes. It's going to be real fun to play live. And yeah, like that's definitely up there with like one of my favorite things that we've done for sure. Yeah, definitely.
I've been trying to finish this fucking record that we started in 2017, and I just can't finish it. And it's not because it's more technical or more progressive or more lyrically challenging or virtuosic or anything than before. It's just I can't finish it. Like I don't know. I keep being distracted by other things, or there's a song that I know is going to be great. I just can't figure out what it needs. Like, I don't know. I like having concurrent projects. There's always concurrent projects. Some, of course, come together quicker than others. That's definitely true. But I would say the most common thing that happens is that, so I would say we're always doing one of two things. We're always, the obvious one is that we're finishing a record, and it's like, that's the kind of process everyone's familiar with. It's like, you've already got a few songs, you're just like writing the rest, you're finishing, mixing, like doing all that. But I guess we do spend a lot of time just sort of more in a ethereal kind of like magic sparks kind of way, just writing and like trying stuff and trying to follow through with some idea and see if it leads anywhere. And there sometimes, well, I would say a lot of the time, one song will define a whole album. This album kind of like has constraints. Every album that we make has constraints on purpose, and it makes it easier to make creative decisions. It makes it quicker to finish a song too, because you have less options. So you just explore inside the box, and you don't have to kind of like do this whole soul searching thing that so many people do before they make a record. We just go, all right, we're going to fucking put our record there. It's going to have, these are the parameters, and let's see what we can make inside that. I think the one thing that I have actively tried to do is not repeat ourselves too much, because it makes it it makes it easier to motivate yourself, because I feel like I'm not being judged on my past work, because my past work is so different. If I can make something different every time, it's kind of like uncritiquable. I'm not trying to better. I've never tried to better myself. I've never tried to say, I'm going to make the best record I've ever made. I've never tried to say, I'm going to write the best song I've ever written, because I will do nothing if I say that to myself. I will like go hide under my bed and cry, you know, like I'll never do anything. So I've always just tried to sidestep. It's just, every record is just a sidestep. And if something great happens, amazing. If something unusual happens, amazing. Something I didn't expect to happen happens, amazing. And that's kind of the goal.